Call this meeting to order. First 5 Commission March meeting. We do roll call first, or do we do
You're the chair.
the pledge first?
Whatever you like.
Let's see who's here.
Let's do that. Christina Elliott.
Here.
Eric Fernandez y Garcia.
Here.
David Gordon.
Here.
Olivia Cassiria is out today. Bruce Wagstaff.
Here.
Steve Wirtz.
Here.
Patrick Kennedy.
Here.
Beth Hassett.
Here?
Lee Turner Johnson.
Here.
Donna Sneeringer is out. Kathy Kosick.
Here.
Terry Porter.
Here.
Scott Moak.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, Commissioner Wirtz, will you please lead us in the pledge?
This meeting of the First 5 Sacramento Commission is cablecast live on Metro 14 Cable, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T Uverse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. Today's meeting will be repeated Friday, March 6th at 2 p.m. and Sunday, March 8th at 2 p.m. on Channel 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the Commission may sign a speaker slip at the kiosk located at the back of the room. Please speak into the microphone when addressing the Commission and state your name for the record. If you have any electronic devices, please put them on silent or turn off now. Kathy Kosick will be voting in place of Dr. Cassiria today. And we have a change to our agenda. Item number 10 will be heard before item number 9. And Patrick Kennedy will be voting in place of Phil Cerna today.
All right, first item.
Approval of February 18th, 2020 draft action summary.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Elliott,
Second.
second by Commissioner Wirtz. Roll call, vote, or all in favor vote?
You can do a voice vote on this one.
All
You don't
right.
need to roll call.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
Public comments on off-agenda items.
I do not have any speaker slips, so I think we're done there.
Executive Director's report.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Pleasure to see you all today. I have a couple of things to highlight from the ED report. The first is that our local Help Me Grow chapter was accepted into a learning community to discuss how best to work with our local WIC partners. So for Help Me Grow Sacramento will join Alameda and the state of Washington in the small group learning to forward best practices, and we're pretty excited to be a part of that. And that's happening through our partnership with SCOE, and they are the Help Me Grow lead in Sacramento County. Also, our chair is out today. He's at the National Association of Counties Conference in Washington, D.C. One of the items on the agenda for that meeting is a brand new initiative called Counties for Kids. And that initiative is really shining a light on counties that are working with very young children and their families. They have created a toolkit and other resources available to all the counties in the nation. And so I'll be meeting with our chair later this week when he returns to talk about how we can unpack some of that stuff here locally. And we're clearly doing a lot, but there might be some things that we can learn and then reflect back to that group as well. In other news, our February 21st was the final day to introduce any new bills for this legislative year, And there are about 20 bills of interest that our Sustainability Committee will be looking at to see if we want to chime in on taking positions on, and we'll be tracking those along with the First Five Association. We mentioned this at the last meeting, but it might have gone by in the flurry of excitement around sharing our results out of our efforts to reduce African American child death. But Chair Cerna and I and many partners from our county offices, as well as our community partners, went down to Irvine last month and presented on our Black Child Legacy campaign and the joint efforts between First Five and the county and Sierra Health Foundation and all the partners. There was a ton of interest from the participants in our workshop, really highlighted that we have something and we're doing something here that others are super interested in replicating in their counties. We've been taking calls and sharing out all of the documents from the earliest days of our efforts, and that just continues. So I think we will always be looking for other folks to share out our work with. The association's policy committee, of which we are an active member on, is developing a letter to share with the governor as he develops his master plan, the early childhood master plan. This is a plan that really will take multiple funding streams and categorical funding and unite it all into one large plan that addresses all of his early childhood initiatives, many of the things that are on his parent agenda that we've shared throughout the year. It's a great opportunity for First Five to chime in. As you know, I mentioned that Commissioner Sneeringer was appointed to the Early Childhood Policy Council. That is sort of the guiding council that will be developing this master plan. So we clearly have a voice there, but I think the association just putting forward its voice, a uniform voice for all of the counties, is also important. So we've had a lot of input on that letter and should be finalized soon. That plan is expected to be finalized in October. So a lot kind of hinges on what that plan actually lays out. So we're keeping a close eye on that. The First Five California has a new update to their website. It's a parent resource guide. Really great guide if you haven't been there yet. It answers for parents questions on everything you can imagine, and it's very easy to navigate. It's their latest iteration. It's why we really don't put a lot of resources on our own website, is because we've always sort of funneled families over to the First Five California's parent resource, and now they just did a full upgrade of it. It's quite good. In other updates, you saw the launch of our unequal birth campaign just a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you've seen any of the billboards yet in driving around, but they're out there, and we're starting to get some really great traction on the website already. Our radio spots will begin in just a couple of weeks, so will be matched with our social media presence and the billboards. In less than 2 weeks, our social media ads have been displayed almost 200,000 times already. So those are individual click-throughs based on social media or the billboards. So that's pretty good in just the first 2 weeks. And we're constantly adding fresh content to that so that it's a fresh page. If somebody goes back a week later to look, there's always something new to see on that website. You should have a flyer, and it's up on the board here for our Dia de los Niños celebration. This coincides with the annual Advocacy Day at the association. I think we have confirmed Commissioners Elliott and Porter will be walking with us to speak with our legislators that day, but everybody is invited during the lunchtime from 11 to 1 on the lawn. And if you would like to go, just let me know, and I can do one big registration for all commissioners who'd like to go in and get you all signed up. It's not like a fabulous lunch or anything, but it is pretty cool. Usually Potter is out there walking around. The first partner will be there doing reading circle again with children, and it's just a great opportunity. Lots of our legislators come down and walk around with us, and it's just a very personal experience. Please join. This morning, we had our partnership with the Kings and First Five California. The Kings break dancers and one of the legends came out to a school, Prairie Elementary in Elk Grove Unified School District. We had over 200 preschoolers out there just learning, not learning, just having fun. It's Dr. Seuss Day, and so it was a real Dr. Seuss themed literacy event. So we have a couple more of those events coming up, and we'll keep you posted. And if you'd like to join us at any of them, you are very welcome to. I'm not going to talk a lot about census because that's actually on our agenda, so you're going to get a brief presentation today. And finally, we have, in partnership with our Robles School District, we created an evergreen video titled Preparing Children for Success, and we wanted to share that with you. It really highlights the importance of parent involvement in the early years. And this will be on our First Five YouTube page if you want to see it, but if you could please play the video. Sweet. And that concludes my executive director's report. Happy to answer any questions.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Next item.
Advisory committee update.
We do not have an update. We haven't met in the last couple of weeks.
Evaluation committee update.
Also, we had not met since our last meeting.
In the past 2 weeks, you guys couldn't get a meeting
10
together?
days ago, felt like.
All right.
We're on a roll, so let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Financial planning committee.
Oh, there was no meeting. The next meeting is April 16th.
Last one. Sustainability committee.
No meeting.
No meeting.
All right.
So we are now going to do the public hearing of the annual review of First Five Sacramento 28-21 strategic plan.
Great. So last meeting was all about our new strategic plan, but in this meeting, we're going to review our current strategic plan hierarchy and make sure that we're all still happy with what we are investing in. So each year, the Commission reviews and holds a public hearing on its strategic plan. This will be the third review of this plan because we're in the second year of 3 years, and before the beginning of each year, we have to, by statute, have a public hearing and review and take any comments on our strategic plan. So the third and final year begins on July 1, 2020. This 3-year plan has a spending plan of $60.1 million. Which was adjusted ever so slightly when we did our implementation plan, but it remains right at just about $60 million, so $20 million per year. Your attachment number 1 and up on the board is the strategic hierarchy. This was developed during the strategic planning process, and we have an implementation plan that goes along with each of those result areas and allocates funding by strategy and by agency. I am not recommending any changes to the 3-year plan at this point. We have not made changes to the implementation plan beyond immediately after it was approved. So the public hearing today will satisfy the requirements of the various statutes of the Children and Families Act. And that is all I have.
Any questions? All right, next item.
Presentation, children 0 to 5.
Oh,
It's best if we open the public hearing and then close the public hearing on this matter.
opening the public hearing, closing the public hearing.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, we have Alejandra Labrada will be providing the Census 2020 Kids Count presentation. She is taking the lead for First 5 Sacramento and, in fact, for all 0 to 5 census activities in the county.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Before I begin this presentation, I would like to introduce Tatiana Kravchuk, who's here from the U.S. Census Bureau. So she's here to support this, the work that First 5 is doing, as well as she's here for any general questions that you may have about the census. What I'd like to speak to you about today is not just about the importance of the census. I'm assuming I don't have to convince you all about how important it is, but I do want to talk about the impact that the census has on the 0 to 5 population and what First 5 is doing to address it. If the census results in an undercount, as has been the case before, the funds allocated to our community will not meet the true need of our target populations. So across the country, in mostly every region, there's our complete count committees comprised of government, community leaders, healthcare, schools, faith-based leaders that all come together to implement a census awareness campaign. Also, the CCC also includes subcommittees that represent each hard-to-count community. First 5 has been tasked to lead the 0 to 5 hard-to-count community, which happens to be the most undercounted. What are the hard-to-count populations? Well, historically, all of these populations have been undercounted for various reasons. They're not in any specific order. But what makes the 0 to 5 kids most undercounted is that they span across all of these hard-to-count populations. So it's important to know that about the hard-to-count populations, because when we're doing outreach, different messages might resonate with different groups. Where the hard-to-count populations are typically are in these locations, which may look very familiar because this is where we have family resource centers located. That's why it's even more important to collaborate with our partners to reach these families. This is mostly like the south area, Del Paso Heights, Arden Arcade, Northgate area, which we're very familiar with. As I mentioned, 0 to 5 kids are the most undercounted because they span across all of the hard-to-count populations, and we face all of the challenges that those communities face. For example, the immigrant families with young children are already dealing with fear of the census and fear that the census will share their information. Or we may have families that are homeless and they don't have an address, but they might be unaware that they can still complete the census without an address by using the assistance of a service provider. However, one of the interesting things that we learned through focus groups is that in the 2010 census is that many households did complete the census but did not include the 0 to 5 kids for various reasons. Mostly this came from complex or multi-generational households when the person completing the census is not the biological parent. So when you have kids living with their grandparents or another relative, the grandparents had reported that they did not feel that they had the right or the authority to include that child on the census, or they felt that they were taking the right from the parent to complete it. So those kids were left out. Many times newborns are missed just because, I guess because they don't take up so much space, they don't think they have to include them. And then most complicated is those that live in complex households where you may have 2, 3, 4 families living under the same roof. And maybe the lease is only in 5 people's name, but there's 15 people living under the same roof. Or when someone is renting out a room, it may be just an agreement. They might not have a personal relationship with those children, may not even know their name, birth dates, or anything like that. So there is still an opportunity to catch up if we educate enough families that you can still be counted under all of those circumstances. So if we fail to do this, the impact is significant, and the duration of that impact is 10 years. These kids will be in high school before we can get them counted again. To give you an idea of how that impacts Sacramento County, based on the 2010 census, California lost $115 million in federal funding that was due to the undercount. And about $8 million of that was due to missing the 0 to 5 kids. So although some families and focus groups had reported that they did not see a personal impact or value in completing the census, they saw that the census was important, for example, of like repairing streets or roads or things like that, but they did not see that it impacted them personally. But as you can see these are some of the top programs that are funded by federal dollars, and the reality is that mostly, if not all, first 5 families are impacted by these programs. Most households with young children rely on these programs, and when the kids aren't counted, it does not mean that the kids don't exist and they're not using these programs, but then the programs just are not adequate enough or sufficient to meet the need of the community. This is the current allocation of funds based on the 2010 census count, the annual amounts, and once again stresses the importance of the appropriate messaging for each 0 to 5 family and the challenges that family faces. So what First 5 is doing to address this is, first of all, the association hired a dedicated staff person to work on census. And they also developed toolkits, which are really nice for our community partners to get on the website. It has everything done for you. You don't have to create it. It's articles, social media posts, books, materials of all types. It's been very useful. We also have several of the books that you have in front of you called We Count. The We Count books have children's activities such as counting and going over colors, but it also has educational information for the parent and regarding the importance of completing the census. And we are partnering with our library for them to provide this book during story time, either reading it with the parents and letting them take one home. We are providing the trainers, staff trainings, presentations, parent trainings, and all. There's a lot of social media and event participation. What I'd like to draw your attention to is the mini grants. The First Five Association has provided mini grants to each of the small mini grants for each of the regions to do for outreach efforts on the census. And we have been provided with an $8,000 mini grant. And we're recommending to put that back into the community for stipends for trusted messengers. And we'll get into why we feel that that's important. So that's where there will be a little bit of more materials and things like that, but for the most part, we would like to recommend that it go to trusted messengers. So what First Five is doing, we are encouraging all of our community partners to send out, in a nutshell, to relay these messages to our families. And I've left out a little bit on the first point, that everyone counts, no matter how old, how young, no matter what your citizenship status is, no matter what your living situation is, you count. And there are methods to address the diverse living situations of each person. Also that the programs that your family utilizes can be impacted. And if you don't count them now, again, it's not that they don't exist, but it just can mean overcrowded emergency rooms, overcrowded classrooms. So there is an impact there. And most of all, what's important too is just reassuring families that the U.S. Census cannot share information with others. Their information is private. There is a big fine for anyone who shares the information outside of what it's intended to, and there's also jail time. So just relaying that message to families who have a lot of fear. About a year ago, there was fear that a citizenship question was going to be added to the census. Although that did not pass, that fear is still very real, still exists with a lot of the families, and even though that question isn't there, that the fear is, going anytime they have to put their information on paper, it's going to be, they feel that they're taking a risk. So that further stresses why we want to use trusted messengers. We also learned through the focus groups that they are more likely to complete the census depending on who's delivering the message. The government being the least trusted. So they reported churches. If the message is coming from their churches, they're very likely to complete the census. The schools, the libraries, community-based organizations, and most of all, diverse members of the community who look like them, who speak in their language. And that's where we would like to put those stipends. There's many great and trusted parent volunteers through First Five, through Head Start programs, through our CCG program, and the FRCs that have a parent cabinet. So we believe that offering them stipends to enhance their civic engagement could be very beneficial, even long-term. And so it's just around the corner. I know we've been hearing a lot about census from different sources. We're starting to see them on bus shelters, billboards, hearing it on the radio and everything. So it's here. About 10 days from now, we will all be receiving postcards from the U.S. Census Bureau telling us that it's online. We can all fill it out online from our phone. It's convenient. And or over the phone. It is available in 13 languages online, and there's also 60 other languages that are available through, I'm not quite sure how it works, this might be a question for Tanya, but I will, with 60 languages to use like some type of video or a phone call. I'm not quite sure how it works, but 60 languages could be covered. And that's gonna happen at mid-March. Everyone's going to receive that postcard. That's considered the self-response time. We hope everybody will just receive that, say it's important, and do it. But we know that not everyone will, so there will be reminders after that. And then when we start getting into May is where there will be enumerators knocking on your door. So another message for everyone is if you don't want anybody knocking on your door, take the census before May. April 1st is the census day. That is the symbolic date of where we would count, basically, where is that person sleeping on April 1st whenever there is any type of confusion. Well, I have joint custody and we have 50-50, so who's going to count them? Okay, well, where are they sleeping April 1st? And so there's a lot of questions in those diverse living situations, so the census has to have a date to mark, or children born between April 1st or before. So if a child is born in May, even though they would have all the way through July to complete a census, if a child is born in May, then they would not be counted. So April 1st is the date. The census will be doing the in-home and the door knocking all the way through June through July. And then we also have QACs and QAKs that are out in the community. These are agencies that have signed up with the census to provide questionnaire assistance to people coming in and filling out the census. I know that Head Start is doing their best to get all of their schools to have someone there, they're using parent liaisons, parent ambassadors to help families complete the census. So the First Five Association has a great toolkit, as I mentioned, but we have so much more online. The U.S. Census Bureau also has some great information about different populations. NorCal is the CCC public relations firm that's doing all of the Northern California outreach regarding the census. The County of Sacramento, and there's many more. So even though we're just encouraging whatever works for that population, we are distributing First Five Association materials, but there's a lot of good stuff out there. So before we get to questions, we just wanted to play a quick video for you that we borrowed from New Jersey, just to give you a visual of counting kids. And sorry about that. Okay. Any questions?
Thank you. I know there's been a lot of talk in the domestic violence shelter community of concern about making sure we count everybody and get everybody to do their part. So this book is very cute. I think that's a great thing to share with our shelter staff.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have lots of copies. If anybody needs them, just let us know. We have thousands.
Commissioner Wirtz?
Just a brief comment. One, I think it's really fantastic that First Five is taking an active role in this. And I think I answered my own question, or you answered my question, that the First Five website is not the only place in the county that has information, and First Five is working in partnership with all the other kinds of efforts. And further, what I saw in the one note is that about 7% of 0 to 5s were not counted. If we had 93% last time, 7%.
Right.
And so important to recognize that, and I think the use of trusted messengers is the right approach by all means. I'm concerned about public charge as being another, and I'm concerned about, regardless of what the law is, the fears that people have are real and are acted on, and so everything we can do in the county to minimize those, the reality of upon which those fears are based is going to be really important. And maybe there's something for our leadership to be saying and doing here in Sacramento County, including ensuring that the Sheriff Jones does not cooperate with ICE in inappropriate ways, depending on the law. So those are important things I think we need to continue to make clear the public is aware of, and that the county is taking its appropriate role in that regard. And I had just one final point. and I know this is part of this siloed kind of issue or not, but we also in Sacramento have not drawn down around $1 billion in the earned income tax credit realm. So I'm just wondering if there's a way, we're getting into April and the tax time, I'm wondering if there's a way that the census people and these trusted messengers have any way that they could think about connecting people to the earned income tax credit process via the sites or around both either state or the federal tax piece, because that could be one way to engage with communities, is to say, and in addition, here's some resources for you to potentially draw down up to several $1,000s depending on the family there. So thoughts for consideration?
I definitely think that's a great point, and because we are already partnering with 211 La Familia, a lot of agencies that are doing work where they have the tax services for the underserved. So we can definitely partner with them to just get to have that message with our census thing.
I don't want to sidetrack the census
Yeah.
efforts, but there is sort of a synergism, and there may even be a value added of raising that as a potential engagement tool for some of these communities.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Commissioner Fernandez Garcia?
Hi. So I was wondering if you had asked if pediatric practices or pediatricians were seen as trusted people that can discuss this.
Well, you can discuss it, of course, on the focus groups. They specifically indicated, but I think that pediatricians in hospitals, especially when it's those newborns that are typically getting missed, would be great. So yeah, I think that where the message is coming more and more is the better if they hear it multiple times.
I asked because we're often asked to screen and discuss a lot of different social determinants of health and things outside of what we consider typical medical care. This fits perfectly into that. And so I would recommend that your whomever you designate as the trusted leaders in communities collaborate with their local pediatric offices, particularly federally qualified health centers, where a lot of these hard to reach populations go seek care. To disseminate your information. And these books particularly, we provide as pediatricians books in this age group as part of our routine care. So having this in that armamentarium of books that we could provide in this time would be another fantastic way to spread this message.
Great, and there is a healthcare subcommittee from what I recall there. So I'll connect with them to see what they're doing with the pediatricians and
They're great suggestions.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yeah, not a question, but a couple of comments. Number one, thanks to First Five for doing this. And number two, a shout out to the census folks who've done a wonderful job. We work with them on the K-12 side. We have youth, we have school people working on this all over the county, and it's been coordinated very, very well. So congratulations. And my final comment would be to think about firing up the Black Child Legacy, Kindra, and the Black Child Legacy folks as a source of trusted messengers as well. But this is great work, and thank you. It makes a huge difference.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to move the item to move the $8,000.
He's jumping the gun on you a little.
We'll store that knowledge away. Commissioner Elliott.
Really quick, my day job is in retirement, as you guys probably know, so the opposite of the spectrum of children, you would think, but we work really closely with teachers because that's the pension that we oversee. And we have offices throughout the state. We have an office here in Sacramento. It's in Yolo County, so it's not technically Sacramento County, but we serve Sacramento County school districts, obviously. So I had a thought around, because we're doing work with the census to work with the teachers that come in and the teachers that we interact with throughout the state with some specific messaging towards them, but they are also, what triggered my thought here, and I'm sorry to be thinking and speaking at the same time, but since schools are a trusted messenger, and we have contact with thousands of teachers every single day, maybe we could work with you guys to get some messaging to those teachers, because we're working with the school districts, but we could be a trusted messenger to the teachers in the schools to encourage their families that they work with to take part in the census.
Yes.
It's a long shot, but I mean, we realize as a retirement and this teacher's pension how important this census is this coming year. So anything we can do to be supportive of that, not to speak on behalf of CalSTRS, the CEO is probably going to watch this and freak out, but just like maybe we could have a conversation around some messaging that we could put together and put into our member service centers across the state, but help maybe a conversation with First Five California too.
That would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be good.
Sorry, that was a mess.
I think First Five California has repurposed the 3 birds, the talk, read, sing birds, and it is adding census message to the talk, read, sing birds for this short period of time too, just to get that, again, repurposing, using existing things to get the word out, yeah.
Commissioner Moak?
Thanks. Just I guess a quick practical question on the item that Dr. Gordon already moved. The $8,000 in grant funds going to these outreach champions, trusted messengers, whatever. How's it work? Just really, not to, but just I can remember I see Danielle Lawrence up in the top from Mutual Assistance Network. I can remember a time when we did some stipend work to get people enrolled in class. It was actually, ironically, EITC. Getting people there, we felt like giving them a $5 gift card was well worth it, and it worked. But I'm just wondering how you're doing it.
So I'll let Eric elaborate, but we want to make it worth their time. So we're not going to do a huge outreach effort and have 1,000, and they get 2 hours. We actually want to start with our parent leaders that are already trusted, like I said, the CCG group leaders, the parent cabinet with the FRCs, and parent ambassadors through Head Start. I know how Head Start is going to do their leaders is there's somebody from Head Start has agreed to basically approve their time, and we'll send over, like, if you want to call it a timesheet, and they will be paid by Eric, you may.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fine. I mean, I get it.
Oh, okay. That's good. You want more?
I don't think so.
Okay.
If I get to that one, are we paying them a living wage for that stipend? $15?
It's going to be like, I think it's going to come somewhere around $20 an hour.
Yeah. It's just, there's some interesting pay for performance strategies you can use with some of these things too, in terms of like the number of censuses that you collect or that you initiate, and if there's a way to almost prove that, you actually see outcomes in this way a little bit better. So this one's the census, I think, is a tough one to do. For EITC, it is not. Like, so if we ever wanted to dabble in that pool, you can absolutely, like, someone files their EITC, their credit, and you get a $5 stipend, period. It is pay for play. And it's very interesting to watch it work. But I love that we're doing this. I love that we're doing it with our community connection grants people. We might as well use them before they go away. So I very much appreciate that. And I love that dig right there. You're welcome.
And just so you know, Head Start is kind of already in that direction. So they will be you get a confirmation number after completing the census. Correct. So since they will have people at Head Start locations, when they fill it out, they get a raffle ticket. And their goal is 100%. Of families will have completed the census.
You could second the 8,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
So next item?
Do we need to move that? And does
No,
Gordon need a?
that was item 10, and now we're going to item 9 because we flip-flopped them.
Got it.
Authorization to expend Census 2020 grant funds for outreach efforts, including stipends to trusted messengers.
I'll Happy to move the item.
All right.
I will
got a
second.
motion. All right, second.
We will second.
And
The rest of the
Commissioner
board.
Cosick, before we vote? Oh, you were going to second? Okay.
We all
We have a
second.
third. All right, we need to do a roll call vote since it's money. Okay.
Christina Elliott,
Aye.
Eric Fernandez y Garcia,
Aye.
David Gordon,
Aye.
Bruce Wagstaff,
Aye.
Steve Wertz,
Aye.
Patrick Kennedy,
Aye.
Beth Hassett.
No.
Nope, sorry, done. Kathy Cosick.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, final item.
Our final item is commission member comments.
Let the record reflect that
45
got us out of
minutes
here at
and under.
1:15. Any other comments from anybody? All right, we'll adjourn the meeting at 1:15.
Woohoo! Nice.